Still Hustle Daily. What's going on, Hustle Nation? Welcome back to another video. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey, we got another story time for y'all. This one is about her mom, and her mom was kind of being fast. And the mom is actually in the video kind of like telling us the story as well. This is about to be interesting, all right? So I guess this is about her mom being fast back in the day, probably. I think so. I don't know. We about to listen. You know what I'm saying? My first time listening too. Smash that like button for your boy, and I greatly appreciate y'all, and I love y'all. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. We about to get right into it. Y'all know I ain't gonna keep y'all waiting longer than goddamn 30 seconds. Oh, damn, we passed 30 seconds.
So my mama call herself being grown, right? So for those of you who don't know, we moved my mother in with us last year in January. And before you get in the comment section saying, oh my gosh, you guys are newlyweds, y'all shouldn't have a parent living with you, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. It's not that deep. I mean, we were getting a lot of, well, you know, how do you guys do it if she's there? And my response every time is with the door shut. I'm confused. Anyways, she ain't stopping.
Shit, I'm trying to goddamn how you screaming in that motherfucker. I don't know, the door just ain't just gonna be shut. That ain't gonna be enough. Mama gonna have to be downstairs or upstairs, and she might hear you. No, she couldn't live with me because I'm gonna have you too loud, baby. Damn.
No motion in the ocean. That's all I got to say. But that being said, tell me why. She would hit me up and she was like, oh, I'm looking for apartments, right? And of course I was entertaining the idea. I was like, oh, you looking for apartments now? Okay, cool. So we looking around, like we found a couple of them. They was all trash, but this last one she was looking at, and this was over the course from the time that she moved in up until now, right? So all of them been trash. Well, then we found this one apartment, we looking at it or whatever, and I'm like, it's all right. But my husband was like, no, this one ain't it. And I'm like, this one's not it either. And I never thought that she was actually gonna move out. But a week passed and something told me, ask her if she got that apartment. So I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, Mama, did you get that last apartment? Tell me why she gonna say yes. And she wasn't gonna tell nobody. And you wasn't gonna tell nobody. So, okay, cool. I'm like, whatever, you ain't gotta tell me nothing. But low-key, I'm salty now. Because, like, everybody was like, oh, living with your mom is going to be horrible. It's going to be this, that, and the third. I mean, like, she was worried. Don't get me wrong. I was worried. I ain't lived with my mom since I was a child, okay? It's been a minute. I was in high school, and we was butting heads. Like, butting heads is not even the word that we was doing, okay? Let's just say we were struggling out here in these streets. But I moved out. God is good. Our relationship got better after a few years. And living with my mother has been great. You want to know why? Because she cleans. She cooks. And she works 16-hour shifts 6 days a week. So she ain't even ever at the house for her at the same time. Like, the only time that we're at the house at the same time is because I work from home, right? And she be working long shifts. So she be asleep when I'm at work and money be at work, right? So we just be chilling. And then she'll wake up, get ready for work. We'll be talking while she getting ready for work. Then when she going to work, money getting off of work. So, and when she getting off of work, we in the bed. You get what I'm saying? So there was really no tussling at all. It was great, right? But now you telling me I'm gonna be an empty nester? I'm gonna be by myself. I don't know if I like that. And I'm like, well, what if you get scared? You don't know the area. Are you gonna be okay? No. And then also, she at work right now. She got furniture being delivered at this apartment. She gonna call me on some, can you go see about that furniture, see if it's taken up to my apartment? Y'all, let me show y'all this. Actually, I'm not gonna show y'all where she's staying, but there's this huge box entertainment system outside and I can't carry it upstairs. Miss Ma'am, what was I supposed to do?
Me while I'll tell you a story about my mom's crazy past. Back in the day, it seems my mom used to exclusively date slug dealers. Don't ask me why. She was acting too grown, too quick, too soon, if you ask me. But we're gonna call this one D. So D and my mama used to stay together. They used to throw hands with one another. Well, one night they got into an argument and they throwing hands. And of course my mama throwing hands back, but she was the type, I'm gonna get my lick back and it's gonna be worse than yours. So when D went to sleep that night, she decides to take a bat to this man. A baseball bat in his sleep. Of course, he wakes up well and screaming, pissed off. He calls my nanny on some, you need to come get her. She crazy, this, that, and the third. I'm done with her, yada, yada, yada. Shocker, they were not done with one another. They made up somehow, some way, and they got back together. Well, tell me why my mama found out that D was out here cheating. Are we surprised? No, I ain't never heard of a faithful slug dealer in my life. Anyways, instead of just leaving, she wanted to leave with a bang. And she wanted to hit this man where it hurt, his pockets. Now, one thing about D, he was a smart slug dealer. This man had a legitimate business. He had a car wash. He was not only washing cars, but he was also helping his daddy flip cars. They used to flip hoopties. So my mom decides she is going to go to his car wash while nobody is there. She busting windows, ruining equipment, taking chemicals, pouring it all over the place, making sure it's completely damaged. She goes out to the parking lot where Dee's daddy's cars was that they had refinished to flip and sell, and pours chemicals all over, ruining the paint jobs, and then bust the windows out the car. Now, after she did that, tell me why she pages this man. So he knows it was her. Mama wasn't no fool though, so she didn't explicitly give detail, making it seem like it was her. But between them, they knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? So she's zooming, trying to get back home because she had already started moving out. She already knew this was going to be the end. Tell me why they caught up with each other in traffic. He tries to run my mama off the road. My brother was in the car. My oldest brother. My little brother slings forward, boom, hit his head. My mama was done for at that point. So she's zooming to get to the house, right? Long story short, they make it to the crib. He get out the car. He's screaming, cussing. She's screaming and cussing, letting him know, you going to jail. You hurt my son, yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, somebody up the road, ironically enough, they were related to us, heard the commotion because they lived up the road and called the police. Police showed up and they talking about some, you need to calm down, ma'am, yada, yada, yada. When they heard that he tried to run her off the road and that he, again, was a known slug dealer, she didn't snitch. She ain't the one that called the police and she didn't tell him it was a slug dealer. It was known that he was a slug dealer. So, of course, the officers really quickly was on some, oh, let's avert our attention to this man because we got us one. Right? So Dee is trying to tell the officers that she done ruined the car wash. She cussing out, talk about she still got the chemicals on her shoes. This is where my mom moving out was really smart. She gonna say, I've been moving out all day. You see the boxes and the cleaning supplies when I was cleaning out the bathroom to get my deposit back. I ain't gonna tell you how old my mama was, but she was too smart for her time. Because why in the world? Criminal activity, ma'am. So they end up arresting Dee. This man got sent to prison. But when he got sent to prison, why he get my mama name tatted on his back? My mama gets Dee sent to prison, right? And tell me why, while Dee is in prison, why is my uncle his cellmate? That is absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention, this makes matters worse. Why was my daddy the one to put my uncle in prison? Can you tell we from a small town? Not as small as the town that I live in now, but we are from a small town. Now, this was before my daddy was my daddy and my mama dated my daddy, okay? Anyways, why?
They sending people to jail at that motherfucker, wherever town they at.
Why my uncle and Dee are cellmates? Tell me why Dee gets my mama's name tatted on his back. So, of course, my uncle calls my mama on some, Jamie, I don't know what you've been doing out here, but you need to calm down. You need to slow your roll. This gon' you. And she on some, he ain't about to do nothing. She was real rowdy. Okay, my mama was just out here ratchet in these streets. It's kind of funny when I see people get aggressive and loud today and how they are. And like, I low-key be like, I'm sorry, but my mom's name is Jamie. You have to come a lot harder than this if you want me to be intimidated because she crazy. Nah, she ain't like she used to be, but she was crazy. Okay. Anyways, so my mom like, he ain't gonna do this, that, and the third, yada yada, going in and out. He's like, nah, this man done got your name tatted on his back. He ain't playing no games with you. Well, Dee calls my mama and thanks her for getting him sent to prison. Why does he thank her for getting him sent to prison? Because tell me why. Dee was dealing in his own slugs. His own slugs. So going to prison got him clean. So he's appreciative of that. Obviously, that was a plot twist in and of itself because I'm thinking there's no way this man is going to get his name tatted on your back. If anything, he out here got somebody ready to, bust a move because you got him locked up. But no, not only does he thank my mama for getting him sent to prison, but explain to me why the same brother that can't stand, well now it's not the same story, but back then couldn't stand my mama, was like, you gonna get what's coming to him. He had his brother going to my mama's house to give her rent money, grocery money, paying them bills. Now all I got to say is, Miss Ma'am, you grounded me from church when I had a little attitude because all I did was go to school, go to work, and go to church. Yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in a little bit. Okay, I love you though, mama. The crazy part is I have known Dee my entire life and have never understood how their relationship was. Because this is a solid man. Like, he show up each and every time. If anything, in a case of emergency, I know we can hit up Dee. But Dee, I didn't know this was the story behind it. You know what I'm saying?
My boy, shout out to Dee.
I'll take it back to when she moved out at 15. My mom gets her first apartment when she's 15. At the time, the big time slug dealer was trying to holler at her. We'll call this one JB. So JB finds out, oh, Jamie got her own place. And he finds out where it is. So he pulls up on her. My mom at this point had been ignoring JB because, you know, she's 15 and she got bigger fish to fry, especially if she got to move out and live on her own, you know, doing her own thing. Well, JB pulls up on some, is there anything that I can do for you? You need an air conditioner? He buys her an air conditioner and a microwave. Like, he was trying real hard to holler at her. The main thing that she kept asking for all the time was a ride to work. Because at the time, my mama, and let me say this, I love my mama, okay? She was a phenomenal mama. As a mother, I can't really speak to that, all right? So all I know is they was bumping heads. My mama was on some, if you want me to take you to work, you need to give me gas money. And my mom was on some, how I'm gonna give you gas money if I ain't work making the money. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg type of situation. Well, JB is trying to run a business, so obviously he's not always available to take her to work. So times where JB couldn't take her to work, he was getting to drive her to work. That just was not the ideal situation. So JB decides to get a Cutlass painted blue real nice and gifts it to my mama. Now mind you, she ain't got no insurance, she ain't got no license, she didn't even have a learner's, okay? Just got a whole car as a gift. So at that point, you know, they going together. Like, that's her man. So over the next few months, my mom gets her learners and she gets her license. Boom, she hitting the road. But guess what? JB ends up getting into a big slug bus. One of the biggest slug busts during that time period in the city that we was from. So he gets locked up. Now, one important thing to know is that before JB got locked up, he had a falling out with one of his business partners because JB was also a smart slug dealer. He had a legitimate business. So he would go down to the bigger city from where we from, buy clothes, shoes, all types of stuff, and resell it in his shop within our city. Well, he had a business partner. And this business partner decided to gyp JB of some of his proceeds from this business. So him and his business partner, we'll call him X. So X gyps JB out of his money. They have a huge falling out. They no longer friends. X was trying to holler at my mama to get back at JB from cutting him out the business. One thing to know about my mama, she not gonna mess up a good thing while it's going, so she wasn't stunting X. But then all of a sudden, JB got busted on a whole slug operation, and now Jamie is single.
Boy, mom's done lived the life. She 15, own apartment, all type of shit. Okay, we listening to your mama, and mama like them drug dealers. Mama gonna come in the scene in a minute because I had heard her, but let's listen.
Now, JB in prison. So, JB in prison for 10 years. X is trying to holler and my mama is newly single. So, he pulls up to the park down the street from where my mama lived. You're familiar with the city in this time frame. You know everything used to go down at the park. Long story short, she said some things that I will never be grown enough to repeat in my life. I wasn't even grown enough to hear it as a 25-year-old married woman. Okay? It was nasty. But long story short, my mama basically shot him down, even though she was talking a nasty game. He pulls up to her house doing the same thing that JB did. You need anything, this, that, and the third. Long story short, he started renovating her apartment. They started messing around, but they kept it down on the low. Now, my mama loved X. This was a deep love for X, okay? They didn't want their relationship to be out there, and she didn't want X to know that she loved him because he was a dog. He had 2 other baby mamas that he treated like a dog, but he wasn't stupid. He didn't put his hands on my mama the way he was putting his hands on the other baby mamas, but that's a whole other conversation. Baby mamas didn't like my mama because the baby mamas was the same age as X. Obviously, my mama was not that age. So what they used to do is sneak down to Six Flags so they don't have to, be seen together. However, people on the south side was in Six Flags and they started seeing my mama and X. So word spread pretty quickly that Jamie and X are cozied up with one another. But my mom didn't care what anybody thought. All right, so pause on the story with Jamie and X. So my mama has a friend that she went to high school with. And this friend and her mama had some beef because she caught her mama in bed with her boyfriend. She comes to my mama, and we're going to call her BB. BB come up to my mama on some, me and my mom at it, I had to move out, can I come stay with you? My mama like, you know what, no problem, you can come stay with me. BB staying with my mama, and one night, X roll up. My mama opens the door. X look at BB. BB look at X, and they start going at it. He on some, why you got these random in your house? And BB on some, why this showing up at this house? Like, and my mama sitting here, last I checked, this was my the house. At the time, my mama didn't know why them two had so much animosity about them being there. Because X was very much real low with what he was doing or what he had going on. So she figured that the reason why he had a problem with it was because somebody else is now in his business. But she shut it all up with it. It's my place. I can have here who I want to have here. No. Let me tell you.
So X and BB don't like each other, but my mama don't know why yet. She just assumes it's because X was being disrespectful when he came in, so BB reacted. His reaction was because he don't like folks in his business. Okay. So they resume with their relationship like normal, and my mama start talking about wanting to go to trade school in Florida. Now X was all for my mama going to trade school. He telling her, I'll get whatever you need. He buying her clothes, buying her supplies, making sure she's stacked and ready to go to school, because she was going to do something with her life. One thing about X is he really liked the fact that my mom had so much going for her at such a young age, and he wanted to be a part of that continuing. He always said she had more than the women his age and his other baby mamas, so it's like, I'm going to pour into you and make this continue on. Boom, my mama's in Florida. She's there. Her and X are talking every day. There's a lot going on personally at that point in time because my mama went to rehab. I forgot to mention she was also on slugs, but that's another story for another day. Every day while my mom was there, she was sick. She wasn't feeling good. They talking every day for 3 months, and she finally tells him, I think I got something. X hit her with that, don't be stupid. You ain't got nothing. You pregnant. So my mama started panicking. She's like, I'm not pregnant. I don't know what you're talking about. He said, no, you pregnant because I made sure of it. What do you mean, sir? So my mama is nervous. She done left her apartment, left her car, left all the stuff that she had behind to go to this school in Florida, was trying to make her have an appointment. She didn't want to. And she's like, where am I supposed to go now? What am I supposed to do? So she gets a bus ticket and goes back home, but she doesn't tell X when she gets home. So when she get back to our nanny house, she finds out X been staying with one of his baby mamas and been lying to her, talking about he's staying with his mama and daddy. So she calls him, asking him where he stay at. He was like, what I tell you? She's like, okay, say less. Tell me why my mama took that cutlass, drove over there to that baby mama house where he was outside detailing a car, and she pins him against the car and her car. They going at it at this point, because obviously you caught red-handed. You over here staying with your baby mama. We supposed to be together. Now, did we assume that he would be faithful? I didn't, but this is me telling it in hindsight. It was after this debacle that my mom finds out that X was the boyfriend that slept with BB's mama. Now at this point, she's like, it is what it is. What happened happened. Too much time passed for me to hold it against you. Now we got to move forward, because now we got a kid on the way.
Mama, if you had to describe X, how would you describe his personality?
He was very aggressive, but at the same time, he motivated me to go to college. He didn't want me to hang out in the streets. And he cared. He cared more than... He cared about my future more than my reputation. So he made sure, he told me, he said, you're not going to be like the rest of these chicken heads out here. You're going to go to school. You're going to get up out of here. And he paid for me 1 year to go to summer school. But of course, I got kicked out for fighting.
I forgot you used to be ratchet out back in the day.
Which he was upset about, but he kept pushing me to go back to school, which is why I ended up going back to school.
And when you went to trade school, was that your idea or was that his idea when you went to Florida?
It was mine, and it was actually to get away from him.
Not him supporting you getting away from him.
Yeah, but then I came back pregnant. 3 months. I was 3 months pregnant when I came back.
Was he supportive of you going?
Yeah. He gave me money to go, and he called me, sent me letters, and, he was pushing me to do better, to get a degree in something.
Aww.
Tried to change my way of thinking, but you can't change a person's way of thinking.
Shout out to X.
Y'all heard
Left off with my mom coming back from trade school, finding out she's now 16 and pregnant. To understand my mom, her mindset, and why she made the decisions she made, we'll have to rewind before we can move forward, look into her childhood. My mom felt a lot of guilt and shame coming back pregnant, not because she was ashamed of the baby. In fact, that baby would be the thing that ends up changing her life, but because she felt like she disappointed my nanny. It's important to know that my nanny was my mom's grandmother and my mama was my grandmother. My mom had a lot of respect for my nanny because she spent so much time with her and being raised by her. And she only asked my mom of one thing, and that was to not get pregnant before 18, because none of the women at that point in my family had been able to do that. Aside from a great aunt who illegally got her tubes tied at a young age, we're not going to get into what they was doing in the 60s. My nanny was like a mom to my mama because my mama had my mother at a very young age. Let's just say she wasn't the best mom for a long time because for most of my mom's childhood, my mama was on slugs. My mom spent a lot of time raising herself, so it got so bad at one point that my mama shipped my mom off to stay with a family member in Kentucky. Now, this family member was not fond of the fact that my mom had a black father. This family member would often tell my mother that she was not black, that she was white, and she forced her to ride the white school bus to school and would never let her ride the black school bus to school. Well, this family member was also extremely toxic, obviously, and also tried to pimp my mom out at the age of 12 to her boss, who was in their 60s, by the way, allegedly. As you can imagine, my mom was a rambunctious child. She was ready to run hands at 12 and had a loud mouth, so it didn't go as planned, and they ended up shipping her next day back to Georgia. This family member tried to pretend they had no idea their boss was trying to do this and played dumb the entire time. After coming back to Georgia, not much had changed with my mama, so my mom spent a lot of time with both her grandmothers. Now, her biological father at this point in time wasn't really an active father, but his mother was. And my mom often talks about how her grandmother would lay oil on her head and pray over her all the time. And the nanny, which is the grandmother that I know, spent a lot of time raising my mom and pouring into her. But my mom did not like the fact that so many people seemingly took advantage of my nanny. Many of my nanny's children have often admitted to being horrible when they were younger, stealing from her, taking advantage of her, lying to her, and always coming to her to pay their bills because a lot of them were on slugs. Because my mom grew up seeing them take advantage of my nanny, she was very protective over her, and she fought a lot of our family members. Now, does this mean my mama was innocent and didn't add to the gray hair on some of my nanny's head? Not at all. But my mom also realized that not only did my nanny put up with an alcoholic, abusive husband who was later in life accused of doing not so great things to his daughters, which further explains the issues that my grandmother and many of her siblings had. She also saw the way that her children were to her, and it really rubbed my mom the wrong way. When she got kicked out at 15 years old, my mom had already had a job, and she was prone to dating slug dealers. So she always had money and was always popping up at my nanny's house, making her promise not to tell her kids every time she gave her money. Because my nanny was the type, I'm gonna give you my last if you say you need it. And my mom and her argued back and forth about that all the time. That also contributes to why my mom worked so hard, because even in high school, she still had her own apartment. She was still working and became manager at Hardee's. She was out here doing and doing. She always had money. Again, my mom was still buck wild in these streets, fighting and acting a fool and doing things she was not supposed to do. No, she is not innocent in a lot of these stories, but that just helps to paint a picture as to why she is the way that she is.
Mama, why didn't you and Dee get back together after he got out of prison? Especially when he got your name tatted on his back.
Well, I didn't tell him to get my name on his back. He did that on his own. And I was with your dad when he got out. And no, I wasn't going to go back because we was always fighting, and I didn't want that lifestyle of fighting all the time around my children.
So, okay.
At the time, I only had Jordan. So after Jordan hit his head on the car, I carried a lot of guilt on that because I took, accountability that my son could have got hurt. In the process, I knew he loved me, but we were toxic together. We were always fighting. He was always cheating. He always had his exes hanging around. It was too much, and I didn't want that.
Would you say that Dee really loved you, though?
Yeah, I still believe to this day he does.
And you guys are still friends?
We're cordial. We don't talk like we used to. Life changes. He's gotten married, and I've been married, and but he makes it clear that if I ever need anything, I can always call him.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Here's a character breakdown to clear up any confusion. In the first story, I introduced you to Dee, the first slug dealer. However, that had fast forward after my brother was born. So after I told that story, I decided to rewind to when my mama was 15 and she got first kicked out the house. So when I had to rewind, I introduced y'all to the boyfriend number 1, who is JB. Okay? JB was the first slug dealer that is going to be introduced into the story. Let's just put it that way. And after JB went to prison, then X was introduced. Now, when X was introduced, another character called BB was introduced. BB was a friend from school that needed a place to stay that my mama let them stay with us. After telling that story, I did a small break to rewind back into my mother's childhood, where you're introduced to my mama, who's my mother's mom, and my nanny, who is my mother's grandmother. In that story, I briefly mentioned my mom's other grandmother, so her dad's mom, but she passed away before I was born, so I never met her. And I also briefly mentioned an unnamed family member in Kentucky who was low-key racist, but that's neither here nor there. After telling the backstory, we caught back up to the story with X and BB, finding out that X and BB slept together. At the end of the X and BB story, there's also Shay who is introduced. Shay was a good friend of my mama's who, come to find out, was sleeping with X and trying to sabotage my mama. So my mama cut all them heifers off and said, forget you, I'ma just focus on me and my son. I started with D, but had to rewind to catch y'all up because y'all didn't know how the kid got there. Now, technically speaking, we are up to speed with where D now is in the story where we originally started. So after D, you'll be introduced to a couple more characters and soon enough catch up with who my daddy is. Now, I ain't telling my daddy's story because I ain't got time to have them problems on this app, but I'm skirt around a little bit, give y'all enough details that ain't too crazy. Anywho, all that said, y'all should be up to speed. Let me know if you got any other questions.
So when JB got locked up, I was dead set on I was gonna wait on him. You know, I was just so in love, young and naive. One day I had got my dad's car to go out of town to visit him while he was locked up, and I was gonna surprise him. So when I got there, his ex was in the waiting area waiting to see him. So the jail person or whatever, the guard was like, both of y'all can't go back there. And I said, both for who? And then when I looked over and seen the girl, we got into an altercation in the waiting area.
Wait, you not fighting? You went to jail to see somebody,
Guards,
and now you fighting in the lobby.
We had words and the guards came out, or you know, but she ended up leaving and I ended up staying because my name was on the books. And but that was the beginning of me being pissed off and like, I'm no fool. I'm not waiting on him, and he got other women out here that's writing him, sending him money, and thinking they're gonna see him when I can't make the trip. You know, so that was the beginning and the end of that.
Okay.
My boy gotta do something to occupy his time. Goddamn.
We're going to take a deeper dive into the most influential person in her life, my nanny. My nanny is often described as someone who's very hardworking, supportive, and would give you your shirt off her back. But to really understand her, we'll have to go back to her childhood. It should be noted that all this information is secondhand information from not only my grandmother, but also my great aunts. Okay? Anywho, back to the story. My nanny's origin story is not a happy one. Unfortunately, it starts off with her father, who's a white man, that kidnapped her mother as a child from a Native American reservation when she was just like 13 or 14. She was given the name Ethel, and she was never taught to speak English, and she was also forced to have 13 kids. Her husband ends up passing away. There's speculation that but the story that's told is he was struck by lightning. Either way, he was here no more. Now that presented a lot of issues because Ethel could not speak English and she had 13 kids to take care of. This put a heavy load of responsibility on my nanny and her siblings to take care of their mother and to also earn an income. But you have to realize, at that point in time back in the day, they weren't dealing with Native American folks. Nobody in the town was dealing with her. They were dealing with her husband. Now that he was no longer here, it was full-blown wild out here in these streets. So her kids had to step up. They had to work. They had to care for her and translate everything for her, which explains why my nanny was such a hardworking person, and also why she continued doing that after she had her own 7 kids. Now fast forward, my nanny meets her husband, and they had a lot more in common than they expected. Her husband has a similar childhood. His father also kidnapped his mother from a Native American reservation. Crazy, I know. Apparently they was just out here acting buck wild in these streets. And now it should be noted that these folks is old. They old and they gone. Okay, so this was way back when. You hear what I'm saying? All that said, this makes her husband half white, half Native. Now, it is speculated that his mom was from Florida, and it was the Seminole tribe, I believe is how you pronounce it. I really don't know a whole much about John, we'll call him Johnny, Johnny's background, my nanny's husband. I know more about my nanny's background. Now, this man was said to be a spiteful, hateful man. He was loud, he was abusive, he was unfaithful. He had children on my nanny, and surprisingly, it's speculated that he had a biracial child with a black woman, even though he was extremely racist. Anywho, now, my mama said all the time that she started smoking cigarettes at the age of 7 because her father thought it was just funny to see them smoke at such a young age. That's insane. It was often said that my nanny put up with a lot of addiction issues from Johnny, but she would never leave him. And people ask, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave? Now, my speculation and also my mom's speculation is we got 7 kids and I can't do this by myself. And also back in the day, it was not a thing to just leave your husband, especially during that time period, because at one point she's growing up in a time period where women can't work. It wasn't until later on in life that my nanny had the ability to do that. It did become sad later on as she got older, as her kids, unfortunately due to their childhood, did fall into drug addiction themselves. They grew up seeing abuse, they grew up seeing addiction, so of course they themselves also fell into addiction, which is where my mama comes into play, my mother's mom. Sadly, my mama passed away in 22, and I loved my mama. When I tell you, growing up, cartoons Saturday morning in her bed, that was the place to be. But I do recognize that my grandmother is not the same person that my mom had growing up. And she had a lot to say about her apologies, how she felt about my mother's childhood, the way that she was, and how young she was. So my grandmother was not blinded to her mistakes in life, but I am grateful for the woman that she became and the grandmother that I got to experience. Take a deeper examination of the months leading up to Jordan's birth, but after her and X split permanently. Now that my mom's back, she's pregnant, she's not in trade school, we went to go get back into high school. And during this time period, it didn't last long until she got kicked out of high school. I know what you're thinking. She must have been throwing hands. She must have been fighting. Jamie was real ratchet back in the day. No, tell me why she got kicked out of high school, because yet again, she had a trifling friend that was acting a fool behind the scenes. She had this friend, we'll call her TT. Her and TT were like this. Now, back when my mama was 15 and first got her apartment, TT was about 17, and she was supposed to move in with my mama too. But the problem is, TT and my mama didn't have a whole lot of money at that point in time. There wasn't a lot of furniture, and TT went back home. But as you recall, my mom and JB started dating. And when they started dating, that apartment started looking a lot more nice. My mama thought TT might have been jealous at the time, but she didn't think too deep into it, so they were still like this. Which means TT knew all my mama's business. So tell me why after my mama got back in school, TT went up there to tell them that she was living by herself with no parent or guardian. And not only that, but she was dating a slug dealer and dealing slugs. TT had the nerve to tell my mama she did it for her own good. Mind you, my mama no longer had her apartment because she gave it up when she went to trade school. 2, she was no longer dealing with a slug dealer because JB went to jail and X wasn't a slug dealer. Not to mention, she was pregnant and just trying to graduate high school so that she could have her high school diploma before giving birth to her son. Now, it was easy to prove to the school that she did not have her own apartment because she gave it up. And even after proving that, they still kicked her out because they accused her of being advertisement for the other young girls at school because of the date and the drug dealer allegations. My mom did try to go to the county schools, but tell me why when the county schools called over to the city school, they told them the situation, and all of a sudden now my mom has all these fees and fines that she mysteriously never paid from the old school, which she didn't have money to pay at the time because she just got back from trade school, and if she didn't pay them, she couldn't register for school. Crazy, right? So my mama gave up that fight. I'm out of eye cream. Got some more out of it. So my mama gave up that fight and decided to go out for her GED, which she got successfully. Now I understand why my mama wasn't fooling with none of my friends. My mom is actually going to tell you guys a story while I try some new products from Benefit. I've never tried their stuff before, so let's get into it. What do you want to talk about today, mama?
I want to talk about your mom. My mom had me at 16. It was 7 of them, and my grandmother worked, and my papa worked at a car dealership. And when my mom got pregnant, my nanny told her that her punishment was going to be that she had to raise me. So for a young girl that didn't want to be a mother, that was like real punishment, I guess. Mm-hmm. So as a little girl, I remember staying at home with mama, and we would watch cartoons, and she was always mad and angry. And I remember, even as a little girl, I didn't know how to tell time, but I knew when that shorthand got on the 4, it was time for Nanny to come home. And I was so glad. And I remember as I got older, about 3, I could talk, and I started telling on mama on stuff she was doing. It's like she was my sister and not my mom. And I remember one day she got so mad at me. I don't know what happened, but she was watching one cartoon and I wanted to watch another, and she snatched me up and she started going off with all this, because of you, I can't go to school because of you, this, that, and the third. And I remember just looking at her with big old eye, my eyes wide, and just stared at her while she had me snatched up by my shirt. So when Nanny got home, I was thinking to myself, well, you just wait.
I'm going to tell on you.
Yes. So when Nanny got home, I told Nanny, Mama snatched me up today. And she said she couldn't go to school because of me. And I remember my nanny dropping everything she had and just looked over at my mom in silence, just gave her a look. And then Mama turned around and she gave me the look. So the next day,
she got you was about to get got.
Yeah. So the next day, she waited till Nanny went to work. And she told me, she said, one thing you don't do is tell my business or tell on me.
Oh, so, no, you done messed up.
Yeah, that was the last time I told her Mama. I didn't tell no more.
What'd she do?
Mama was crazy. You didn't make her mad. I sat over there on that chair and watched cartoons all day with my mouth shut. So Nanny got home.
Would you say your relationship with Mama got better when you got older?
No. I understood her more.
When you got older?
When I got older, I started having standards, and I wanted to do better. And there was a lot of things that I believe that my mama didn't forgive herself for. So she projected on me, and she would always say, she would say stuff like Miss Thing, or call me names or indicate that I felt like I was better or was judging her. Mama was in and out of rehab my whole entire childhood, off and on. So when I got pregnant with Jordan, or when I was in Job Corps and didn't know I was pregnant, Mom went off to rehab again. And here's a letter she wrote while I was in Job Corps.
Oh. Oh, that's so crazy. The paper is Hi, Jamie. How are you? Fine, I hope. I miss you, and so does Day. Okay, don't make fun of me, but I'm not the best at reading in cursive.
Oh, no.
Damn, who's still writing in cursive? Holy.
A public school education. Okay.
With a bachelor's degree.
Right, with a bachelor's degree. You must be working and you got a lot Yeah, Mama, here you read that. This is embarrassing.
It say, how are you? Fine, I hope. I miss you. So does Day Day. Your prayers must be working. I got your letters as I was leaving home for a detox center for alcohol. As you can see by the address on this envelope, I got up this morning and decided I wanted to quit drinking. By 4 o'clock this afternoon, I was on my way here. I got your letter just as I was leaving. I love you, Jamie. I love Sade. I don't want Sade to hurt over me the way I know you did. I'm truly sorry for that child. You damn sure deserved better. This is not an easy letter for me to write, and I hope you and I can try to understand each other after this is over. I miss Sade something awful, and I haven't even been here a whole day. But I know when I leave here, I'll be a better mama for you and Sade. I love you both with all my heart. My job said when I get out, I'll still have a job. They are helping pay for this. They gave me a leave of absence from work, and I don't know yet how long I'll be here, but I'll feel that it will be for the best no matter what anyone else should say or think. I think I made the right choice. I'll close for now. Jamie, stay in touch. Your letter today really means a hell of a lot to me. Love you. Love, Mom.
I'm not even gonna hold you. It's like I can't. It's like I can hear her saying it though.
Yeah, especially when she got the dust.
Right. Oh my god.
And I told you
you thought you were gonna cry. Oh my gosh, I miss my mom. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Is my baby sister. Did you ever tell her?
No, I never introduced my aunt.
We're 14 years apart, so by this time she was like maybe 4.
So my aunt was like a big sister to me because my birthday is the day after hers, and I ain't even gonna hold you. When she ended up pregnant with my cousin Jabbar, I was salty. I was mad at her because I was like, dang, I ain't gonna get all your attention now. And then when Jabbar was born, I was like, oh, it's my baby. Well, he ain't a baby no more. You grown now, Jabbar. But I ain't gonna hold you. I was with all the smoke when I found out she was pregnant. But that's besides the point. So my mom's little sister, we call her Day Day. And because she was so much younger than my mom, and our birthday was the day after hers, she was like a big sister to me growing up. I'm going to read the last letter that she got from my mama. Hi, Jamie. I miss you a lot. I just got your letter, and I was so happy to hear from you. I'm doing fine. Don't worry, little one. I'm hanging in the program, but I miss Sade a lot. Don't worry, darling. Your mama is getting her act together finally. I'll be there for you always. I know you're scared, but we'll make it. Sade's going to be an auntie, and I'm going to be a grandmother. You'll be a beautiful mama, and I know it. If need be, you can always finish up after the baby is born. I'll help you in every way I can. I love you, Jamie. I know I haven't always acted like it, but I always have. You is my beautiful baby girl, and you are my beautiful grown baby girl now. Hang in there. I'll be out of here soon. I don't know exactly when, but whenever it is, I hope we can get past the past. I know there's a lot of pain there, but if you can find it in your heart to still love me, I'll try like all crap to make it happen, or to make things better for you and Sade and your baby. Sade loves and misses you too. Answer soon. Love. All my love, always, your mama. So when she finally got out of rehab, what was mama like?
She was sober for maybe a year or 2. Sade was happy because she was home. I was always working. I didn't really spend much time over there. But she was still sneaky, like teenage type behavior. My stepfather, he he was so happy that she was home and she was sober, and he was trying to keep her happy so she would stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, they was living in separate houses.
Oh, I didn't know Papa and Mama lived separately.
Yeah, Mama had got an apartment, and he stayed in the house.
Oh, okay.
And so when she got out, he would go over every morning and take Sade to school and make sure Sade got to school, and he'll go and pick Sade up, and it lasted for about a year or two.
What happened after that?
She got back on drugs.
What finally got Mama to be clean? Because I know that there was a couple of lapses in my childhood.
She quit doing drugs and she started drinking.
Uh-huh.
And she hid the alcohol in her room or whatever. So she kind of hid her drinking by staying in her room, because if she stayed in her room, nobody would know she was drinking. But she started working, doing laundry at a nursing home.
Yeah, I remember her taking me to work with her, and I would fold. At the time, y'all still used the disposable diaper, or not the disposable diaper, the reusable diaper.
Yeah, that kind of helped her, you know.
I used to love going to work with her.
Yeah, that kind of helped her stay. And you guys, y'all sometimes, you know, she always said she wanted to do better, but then she would lapse.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story.
The scene is 1998. She just got pregnant by her best friend who left and married somebody in Virginia. She's a little bitter. For today's hairstyle, I wanted to find something cute and girly, so I'm going to follow this French braid tutorial that I found on Lemonade. I think it'll go perfect with my outfit. But back to the story. So my mom's 22 and pregnant, and she just got her business degree, so she's working as the manager at Crystal's at a very young age. One particular night, this officer comes in because they used to run a special for officers to be able to get a free meal at night. And this was to encourage a police presence around Crystal's, especially when that night crowd came in from the club. They wanted to make sure nothing was about to pop off, basically. Let the braiding begin. On this particular night, an officer came in and was trying to jump to the front of the line. So my mom, at this point, she was really vulgar, and she'll tell you back in the day, she used to cuss any and everybody out. If her staff members had an issue with the way she was managing, she would say, you can get on and clock out. Like, that's how she was, okay? When this officer was trying to cut to the front of the line, he hit him with the, I don't know who you think you are, but you can wait in line like everybody else. And he was like, if I wait in line, then I'm going to be late for my shift. She said, oh, well, sounds like a sob story that I don't care about. You need to wait. So he said, okay, I'll be back after my shift is over. I got something for you. Tell me why when this man comes back, he lays a book down on the counter. Guess what it's called? Expanding Your Vocabulary. This man done hit her with I'm not sure if you know this, but people who cuss tend to have a lower vocabulary. He's like, I like that. I like that. Of course you like that. Of course you do. Anybody that can put you in your place. And I ain't gonna hold you. He was smooth with it. Mr. Officer went on to ask my mama on a date. He liked to be put in her place, and he liked him feisty, so you know she said yes. She said, well, I have a son, and he coming with me. They went to a family-friendly place, Pizza Hut. They went out to eat, but tell me why. When the check came, she looked at him, he looked at her, and was like, I mean, you brought your son, so I figured we were splitting it. She was used to dealing with slug dealers. She was used to dealing with men that will drop a dime. You know what I'm saying? So she was looking very confused, baffled even. So you know what she did? She stood up, took Jay, and said, I'll see you at the car after you pay the bill. Now, would you believe me if I told you they went on to get married? Yes, girl, he done put a ring on it. But we've got to give it up for her. And with the bow, is that not the cutest?
Y'all remember how she moved up out this house, got a place without telling me because she tried to keep it a little secret? Oh, well, I found out why. Girl out here, she didn't want to abide by the rules on this roof, okay? She out here acting fast. Tell me why she caught herself going out on a little date with a little friend, right? And somebody comes up while she on this little date to say hello to the friend, somebody of the opposite sex. Hey, all extra excited about it. And my mom sitting here looking like, And this friend all extra excited about it. But this is what really threw me off. apparently the girl sat at a table that was like behind them. So her back is to my mom. And this woman gonna hold up a camera like this over her shoulder to take a photo of my mother. And here's the thing. We in this itty bitty little town. Who you taking a photo of and who you sending it to? And who is this man that you feel the need to take a photo of my mama on a date? Don't get me started now. She'll be too small. She'll be too small. Don't play with my mama. She crazy. I'm the reason why she don't be going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's number one. So as my mama telling me, she going off. She going cuckoo for freaking Cocoa Puffs. I'm like, Mommy, don't cuss the lady out. She was like, no, I decided not to act a fool on this date. But she almost caught. So I'm sitting here like, okay, first of all, you acting fast anyways. You wasn't supposed to be on no date because you ain't asked for my permission to do that. Next thing you know, you going to tell me you out here losing your virginity or something. And I can't handle that type of information. So calm down, Miss Ma'am. But number two, whoever took that photo of my mama, I advise that it is in your best interest to not play no games with her because she is not from here. She don't care what nobody here think. She is not afraid of going to jail. Been there, done that. She does not. Don't play with her. Okay, please don't, because I don't have time to deal with that. Then, and let's be honest, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna have to bail it out. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna have to take care of everything. It's not really a problem for her. It's a problem for me. So save yourself because she will run some hands, and she doing too much. She acted too grown. Nobody told you to go on that date, and to begin with, Miss Jamie. Anyways. So yeah, no, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And then on top of that, like she still got it. That's what's really throwing me off because she got people ready to pay some bills and things. And I'm over here like, I mean, I can't really criticize because you know, my man got that ring, got me a car, got me a new house. Ooh. That's besides the point though. So yeah, Miss Ma'am, you need to calm down. Cool your britches off. Cause I ain't got time. I'll take my belt off. Oh, and not to mention, she over here talking about something. I'm going to start a TikTok. Can you help me start a TikTok? I'm going to make some videos and talk to my friends. Y'all done hyped up my mama too much. Now she over here acting grown and she going to put it on the internet. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with y'all. Because y'all going to be the reason why I whoop her. I'm going to take my bed off.
Shout out to her moms, man. I'm glad her moms got a, you know what I'm saying, life together. You know, she mentioned her mom was on drugs, so mom sounded like she definitely had a rough life. But it looks like she raised a good daughter, you know what I'm talking about? So I appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with me, man. Smash that like button on your way out of here. And I love y'all, man. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. It's your boy Ray. Big play. Peace.